I
I'm
remember to
doing
hit the
fine.
record button.
Good afternoon.
How are you guys all doing today?
I'm doing fine.
Hello, I'm doing well. How are you all?
Good, good. Glad to hear that. So we are going to talk about persuasion how it comes into play when presenting ideas, proposals, and strategies.
Before we start, can I ask one quick question? I came in late, and what I was hoping the agenda would be was specifically about the national strategy, because we have lots of people who know how to run projects and, make them happen, but nobody knows anything about did I miss that, or that wasn't the intent of the meeting?
It's all about parts of the national strategy, and that's why you saw some polling questions that asked, are you ready to present an argument to or from, and things like that. So
Okay.
it's always about the national strategy, but it's bits and pieces of it and how to accomplish getting there.
Thank you.
Does that make sense?
It does. Yep.
Okay.
Thanks.
Oh my God, what did I do?
I am Corey. I'm going to be the moderator today. So I'll be taking notes unless somebody else wants to be a note taker and presenter at the end. But otherwise, let's go through the breakout discussion questions, which were: share an example of a lifespan respite grantee activity in which persuasion was used to move forward or accomplish a task. So we can start with question 1. Does anybody have any examples of that?
We're at the beginning, so I don't.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't know that I've had to use persuasion, I would say, specifically. So,
has it been more of the argumentative kind?
No argument. I think more just everyone agrees that it's a priority. So there's no real
There's
conflict
no other side. It's all we all agree. Okay.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
Okay.
That's kind of where we're at. We're so new that there's nothing that we disagree on yet.
And Louise, where are you at? Where are you from?
Massachusetts.
Massachusetts. Okay.
So I'm on the MLR, the Massachusetts Lifespan Respite Coalition.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Leanne or
Hello, this is
Lita?
Lita from Arizona. So how we started discussions were, what respite care needs do you see? Where can we fill gaps? So it was really a collaborative discussion on a shared vision. I don't know if we had any conflicting priorities because the strategies were so new and the gaps in services were very, it was across the board, underserved, non-English speaking, tribal communities, weekend and overnight respite, emergency respite. So there was a lot of agreement. We haven't had to use any kind of arguments yet or persuasion. Of course, that's a different story when we're going to go after more funding, right?
Yeah.
So we will definitely be utilizing all of the strategies that she just went over, Cheryl just went over. So just wanted to share that.
No, and that's perfect. So do you already have some thoughts on how you're going to have to do that, Lita?
Right now we had pulled together an infrastructure for a state respite coalition. We already recognize that we have a statute that requires us to have a lifespan respite program, but it is not funded. We are currently funded through ACL. So in this, we find that data is going to be super important. The voice of the caregivers are going to be even more important. and then stakeholders, savings to Arizona, so on and so forth, especially the Medicaid system. So right now we're still building and speaking now to Medicaid to really help us to identify, what they can pay for, what we can try to mitigate, in the community settings. So all of that will be translated into data, which will be used for advocacy in the future.
Does Medicaid have money earmarked for respite?
They do. They just received a 1115 waiver that includes respite care.
Thank you.
Good afternoon. This is Leanne. I was just going to say I am indirectly technical support to the respite, I guess, program, and I don't have direct communications. So this is new to me. I'm a sponge, and I want to suck up all this good information. And so when I can get into meetings, and when they're open, I can present some information to them.
Great.
So are you in a local, are you in a, like a local government type organization? Okay.
Yes, I'm in Tennessee, and it's Commission on Aging and Disability.
Oh, okay, thank you. Now that kind of.
Yes.
How about you, Megan? Any thoughts or ideas on that?
Well, I kind of agree with Leanne. I mean, we haven't really, created a position per se, but the activities that we've done have been, collaborative, like as Lita said. And right now I'm a one woman show again. So, it's like in the future, hopefully, I can get somebody with me and we can create more of a strategy. But right now I don't really have that.
Okay. That makes sense. When you're a one-person show, it makes it a little hard.
Yeah. Yeah.
So.
Anyway, but thank you.
So one of the third point they wanted us to talk about was how would you react to someone you were trying to persuade on an issue? And this doesn't have to be towards the national strategy only, but it could be towards anything that we're talking about. Toy, I'm so sorry. I thought maybe you were one of those AI things because it said pilot as the last name.
No, I actually lost my connection at one point. Spectrum has an outage in my area all of a sudden, so I'm trying to use my hotspot. So,
oh, okay. No. So I thought maybe you were one of those AI things. I was like,
no, it's me. It's
I
me.
think that's the one.
So,
but just a quick, I want to piggyback on something Lita was saying. That's what we're doing here in South Carolina at our coalition is we're trying to fill the gaps for our families that are the families who haven't been able to receive a waiver. So we're trying to fill that gap by providing the respite voucher to them. And so just working hard, trying to convince our politicians that we need more funding to provide respite for our families. So we're trying our best. We had Respite Awareness Day last month, so trying our best to persuade them to put us on their budget and provide more funding for us to be able to support those families that need respite.
I completely agree with that because in our state, in Nevada, the vouchers are worth a maxed amount of $1,000. And when agencies, caregiver agency, PCA agencies are charging anywhere from $30 to $40 an hour, that doesn't go very far.
No.
My vouchers used to get 50 hours of care. Now they're down to 37. So
that's right.
Yeah.
And
same
like,
here.
Yeah. And people are like, is this it? I'm like,
yes.
Well, it's better than nothing.
Yes, exactly.
We're
We're trying to give you what we have. Yeah, because ours is actually a little bit lower. We have a one-time $500 voucher, and that's only when we have the funds available. So families are really bothered when we offer the $500 and we get the question, is that all you can give us? It's grant funded and our funding is limited and we can only give you what we have. And I'm thinking in my mind, please be appreciative of the fact. But you know, when you're out there voting, vote for those politicians that will actually fund lifespan. So
exactly, that's exactly it, 100%, because you know ours is 1,000, but it doesn't seem to go nearly as far. It's just like a tank of gas doesn't go nearly as, you know. $5 doesn't get you more than a gallon and a half if you're lucky anymore.
Yes.
Versus before it would fill your entire tank.
Inexpensive gas. So
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
true.
it's always easy to relate it to gas or groceries or something because those are things we deal with on the daily.
Yes.
So no, I 100% agree with that one. Ours is grant funded too. I work for just a local nonprofit, and I'm also part of the Nevada Lifespan Respite Care Coalition. So, we have obviously the same issues as everybody else. So, so the third part was, how would you react if someone were trying to persuade? Sorry, I took my glasses on an issue you felt passionately about, accused you of being manipulative. How could you respond so that they might become more accepting of your message? So you're manipulating, you're being too argumentative, it sounds like, more like that. How would you change up how you're talking about it? And honestly, would you be able to do it? Because some people, you know, they just, that's their personality. That's just the way they are. They're not going to be able to change that. So would you be able to do it? And have you experienced that in any setting?
You mean, would we be able to be manipulative? Is that what you're saying? Or what, how
It
would
says
I
that we're trying to get somebody to onto our side. And,
oh, okay. Yeah.
And you felt passionate about this, you know, vanilla ice cream is the only way to go.
Yeah.
I don't like strawberry, I don't like anything else. Vanilla is it. And you were accused of being manipulative. How would you respond to that? And would you be able to change it up if necessary to get your point across?
I mean, I would handle that with facts. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, I just said I would present facts, I think.
Okay.
Sorry. Yeah, I'm done. Go ahead.
I'll just echo what you just said. I think facts is really important. So you know you're not just in it for the sake of argument. And then having the subject matter expertise and actually speaking with caregivers and knowing what their experiences are. And a lot of research now and the strategies all kind of, you know, go hand in hand in supporting really any type of argument, right? So Medicaid funded services, increased need for funding, more flexibilities with the program, you know, stretching the dollar as much as possible. So I think, you know, I would fall back on the strategies and then how we're implementing it into the state plan on aging. And then really, if I have to go there, I will, you know, speak about caregiver experiences that I've known about personally, you know, in my previous role. So I think those would be some of my responses in that.
That's awesome. Anybody else have any thoughts?
Yeah, one of the things that we've done when we come up to something new is try to talk with each person who's going to be before the meeting and then present something. Start us out with something that's like common ground. And I think and then the next step is kind of where you can come in as being seen as manipulative, because then you have to steer the conversation to get to your goals. And that's probably the toughest part.
like trying to sway the jury.
Yeah, or you'd have to pick something out in the common ground to move off on. And sometimes in a short meeting, it's hard to find out the champions of each thing.
Yeah,
But we've tried to do pre-work to kind of circumvent it.
so you establish a base.
Yeah.
Leanne, Toy, any ideas?
I mean, I would say, reiterate what you guys are saying, just starting with the facts and then actually giving some examples. And like Lita said, talking about your personal experience or experiences of being a caregiver and how stressful and difficult that can be. Adding that with the facts is what kind of wins them over for the most part.
Sometimes I think the personal experiences work better because if they disagree with the facts, you can't go anywhere.
That's why you have to throw that personal
Yeah.
experience in there.
Yeah, and I agree. I think it helps tremendously when you're drawing from personal experiences or, I think that helps bring the points home.
Yes.
Yeah.
And really, it helps the person if they are a caregiver or know a caregiver, self-identify or help the other person identify, right? So
Mhm.
all of a sudden they're thinking in a different
Mhm.
mind frame.
Mhm. Yeah.
I think that's an important one.
Yeah, it sort of brings them around to your way of thinking without even
Mhm.
trying to, because
Yeah.
they can put themselves in your shoes or
That's
those
right.
shoes.
It's all a part of the buy-in.
Yeah.
So you got to be passionate about your opinion and what your argument is to begin with. If you don't have the passion, you're not gonna be able to persuade them.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
So we agree that you must be passionate. Just trying to take notes so I can give a good report back.
Nice.
So does anybody else have any thoughts or what else you would do? Or, I mean, I've never been a debate type of person, so debating was not one of the things I did in school. So winning arguments is not generally something I tend to do a lot of.
Well, I think it's also when you're talking about the national strategy,
Mhm.
you're not talking with working with people that you're normally work with. So you all have a somewhat familiar look on the world. And but when
Mhm.
you go into this group and that group and this group and you want them all to follow it, it's so tough.
Yeah, because they may not have an idea of what it is that we're trying to accomplish, because it could be a whole new foreign thing for them. So you have to educate them first.
Yeah, and hope you bring them down the right path.
Yeah. Well, bring them down your path,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, that is true.
And we
Although
know
I can
that it's the
be
right path, but
persuaded.
yes, bring it down the path. So
Yeah.
No, that makes 100% sense, because you just don't want to argue
Right.
like you do with your siblings. I have twin brothers. I remember them doing that all the time, just to argue.
Ah,
Just trying to remember. Did I miss anything that we were supposed to talk about?
I don't think so.
Susan is so good at leading the conversation. I've got to learn better from her. So, just in general on some things, how have you guys been able to persuade anybody for like more funding, or like Toy, you said people don't like they don't appreciate just the $500. Have you been able to persuade them and have them come around to why the $500 is great versus nothing?
Yes, some of them. For the most part, the majority of our families have actually gotten them to come around and understand that it is just $500 now. But if they are able to utilize that $500 in a timely manner, if we still have additional funding, they can get an additional $500. So then it's $1,000. And they're like, oh, yeah. And so they use the respite voucher the way that it's supposed to be used so that they can get that
As
second
quickly
voucher.
as possible. Okay,
So-
well, that's a great,
As quickly as
yeah,
possible.
exactly. That's perfect. Okay, it sounds like we're being asked
Yes.
to leave our room. So thank you, everybody. I appreciate
Okay,
your
thank you,
insight
Corey.
and your
Yeah, thank you, Corey, for
participation.
note taking and leading.
Bye.